Well, Super Bowl 60 is in the books, and it definitely did not go the way that I wanted it to go, but it was a very awesome story in the end as the Seattle Seahawks have won Super Bowl 60, absolutely dominating the Patriots offense through the entire game, making the Patriots offense look absolutely inept in every single way from the opening snap. The only reason it stayed close long was because the Patriots do have an elite Super Bowl caliber defense. And that is undeniable if you watch football and know anything about it. And I think that's a huge thing to take away from this as a Patriots fan, honestly. But first, the champions. I mean, what a story. What an amazing accomplishment. You look at the beginning of the season, a 60-1 odds, both of these teams to win the Super Bowl, 60-1, and they're playing for the Super Bowl yesterday in Santa Clara, California. And it just, sometimes games go one way, and sometimes that's just what happens. You got to take the L. I'm taking my L, even though I don't play the game, but obviously everybody wants me to take the L as a fan, and the Patriots have to take their L and bounce back. What's great about this football game, not only from the champions, but also from the team who did not win the championship, is that these two teams are pretty young and have the capacity to continue to be relevant and competitive for years to come. So this is maybe a Super Bowl we could see again if you really want to look at it the way these teams are starting to rebuild and starting to get themselves together. And in a rebuild year, full rebuild year for the Patriots, 30 new players on this roster into the Super Bowl this year. That's a heck of a rebuild season, if you ask me, with zero expectations to lose the Super Bowl as your final game. Quite impressive, regardless of how much of a crushing thing it is, obviously, for the players themselves to get to this stature, to have a game like that. Seeing Drake May after the football game in his press conference was a little depressing. The kid doesn't deserve to take as much of the hate as he takes, but unfortunately, he plays for a team that is hated, so he's going to inherit that hate. He's a good kid. He played his ass off all year long. He had a incredible season that you could debatably say, arguably say, was an MVP season. He did not play like an MVP for the last few weeks. He did not play like an MVP at all in this Super Bowl. And it's not necessarily all his fault. That offensive line was worse than a sponge. It was leaky. It was just letting people through, and it was opening up holes for the defense and not for the running game. And that's not how you're supposed to play offensive line, guys. I don't know if you knew this. Most offensive lines try to keep the people from killing your quarterback, and Drake May was running for his life all day long. The Legion of Boom has long since left, but the dark side defense is here to stay. I think it is a stellar situation they got going on in Seattle right now. I don't think that team's going anywhere. Sam Darnold, again, we talked about this last time I was on here. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. I don't want to do long videos anymore. But I did talk about this last time I was on here, so I'm not going to reiterate too much. But his story of where he came from to how he got here, pretty amazing. He didn't win at USC. No USC quarterback has ever won the Super Bowl. Now one has. He went to the Jets. The Jets were abysmal. He went to the Panthers while they were abysmal. He goes to San Francisco as a backup, gets it back together, wins 14 games last year for the Vikings, but doesn't look all that good in the playoff game that they lose. And they say, we'll go with J.J. McCarthy. Okay. Sam Darnold said bet. And Sam Darnold took the deal with Seattle, which Geno Smith kicking himself right now, too, because he wanted to get more money. He wanted to go play elsewhere and get a bigger contract. And then where's he at? Cancun with everybody else. And Sam Darnold is a Super Bowl champion. I think the best meme of that I saw last night was something that said, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Hey, wow. What a comeback tour over the last handful of seasons for Sam Darnold. When he left Carolina, and I didn't think they should get rid of him. I thought they should have gotten rid of everybody else way faster than they did and found a way to keep Sam Darnold and get a guy like Dave Canales, that's here now at Carolina, to help fix him. Didn't happen. But he got fixed somewhere. He shook his demons. He got it together. He played the season of his life last year and then followed it up with an even better one. That's MVP caliber regardless of awards. Sam Darnold has been a revelation over 2 seasons of football, and you can't be upset at anything about that. That is why we love sports, is seeing a guy like him go from being ridiculed. They still share the GIF or the meme that's, out for the season for mononucleosis. He sees ghosts against New England. He was the prototypical Jets flop. But really, he just needed to wash the Jets off of him. And it just took a handful of years. But that's gone now. I don't think anybody's ever going to talk about ghosts ever again. Because what he did was went out there against a defense that was almost equally as good as his defense. And he played light years better than the other quarterback out there, even in a minimal performance. He protected the football. He made big throws in big moments to keep the ball moving, even if it was a drive that ended in a field goal. He was doing everything that Drake May and the Patriots couldn't do. And that's why you win the football game. Drake was missing his throws. Drake was succumbing to the pressure. I was texting one of my best friends who is a huge Patriots fan as well throughout this game, and most of the time we were like, why in the hell can't we sack Sam Darnold? The guy found a way to be subtly elusive. He even ran for a first down once, which is not a Sam Darnold thing to do. And I don't say this lightly, and I don't mean that he's just as good or equally to it, so I know somebody's going to get in the comments about that, but he had a Tom Brady-esque game in simplicity last night, Sam Darnold. Subtle motion, subtle movements in the pocket, subtle steps to one side, the other, forward or back, just out of reach of the pressure, and then delivers a bullet to the guy that needs to be delivered to. Getting the first down, moving the ball forward, getting into field goal range, which sometimes is all it takes. When you can get 5 field goals and then your defense comes up with a touchdown, it takes a lot of pressure off you. Takes a lot of pressure off you. And again, he wasn't good last night as far as being a statistical dominant quarterback. It's a pretty pedestrian quarterbacking game on his side and a very inept quarterbacking game on the other side, even though stats-wise, I mean, Drake had 2 touchdowns and almost 300 yards passing in the end, but he was chasing points, obviously, and they couldn't run the football at all. And the other side had that Kenneth Walker guy who's pretty darn good. MVP, I think. That's pretty solid. But in the end, look, Sam Darnold did what you're supposed to do. And you can game manage the hell out of it if you want. I'm sick of that crap. You know what a game manager usually is? A winner. You manage every game. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Joe Montana, you know what they were? They were game managers because the job of a quarterback is to manage the football game while you're on the field. You're the manager. You have a boss, too, over there on the sideline, a couple of them. The junior CEO is the CEO, all that crap, right? That's like, it's a business that you're talking about. Your head coach, Josh McDaniels, your offensive coordinator, all them, they're going to be talking to Drake May. But while he's standing behind that center, and he's got 10 guys around him on that football field facing 11 dudes, he's the manager. It's like a manager at a restaurant. He's known the restaurant. He's not the GM of the restaurant, but he's running it tonight. So the game manager label is stupid, and I think that we need to shake that as a negative connotation because what Sam Darnold did last night was manage himself to a Super Bowl championship. He didn't have to be Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. He didn't have to throw for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns to win this football game. He had to make sure that the Patriots defense did not beat them because his defense was beating the Patriots. So management is a good connotation to me. Game manager, that means winner. Because there are people they called game managers that didn't win. And to me, that's not a game manager. That's just not a good quarterback. So in the end, I'm just going to say this. The future is bright for both of these teams. For the Seahawks, it's super bright because you're the National Football League Super Bowl champions. You are the world champions. You are the greatest thing going in professional football as of this moment. Enjoy it. Revel in it. Beautiful. What a season. What a performance. Knocking off Stafford and the Rams, taking it to the house, and winning a Super Bowl on your rival's football field in Santa Clara. Pretty insane. But on the flip of that, nothing to hang your head about in New England. The fans shouldn't be angry. The fans shouldn't be depressed. The team shouldn't be downtrodden. They shouldn't be hanging their heads. Especially that defense. Especially a guy like Christian Gonzalez that might have played the greatest game of his whole career last night, saving this thing from being a 52-7 blowout with a couple of insane touchdown-saving plays defensively. Because your game manager, Sam Darnold, threw some dimes. Those passes should have been caught, both of them touchdowns. There was another one that would have been a first down. And all three of those incredible throws were blocked down by an incredible defensive effort by Christian Gonzalez. So the defense of the Patriots has nothing to hang their head about at all. And the offense shouldn't really either. Because we go back to the beginning of this conversation that I started. Neither of these teams should be here. The Patriots were a full rebuild. Back-to-back 4-13 seasons. Fire Belichick after 4-13 and 5 seasons of bad football. Fire Gerard Mayo after 1 year with another 4-13 football team and possibly the worst defense we've seen in New England in a long time. And then year 1 of Mike Vrabel, 30 new guys on this roster. Rookies, signings, new people, rebuild. Year 2 of a quarterback who kind of didn't really even throw the ball much year 1 and didn't play the full season either last year, Drake May. And they go all the way to the Super Bowl. They go 14-3. Flip the record from the last 2 years. And then make it all the way to the Super Bowl, beating 3 top 5 defenses on the way. So you could talk about schedule. You could talk about whatever you want. You can make excuses about how this team wasn't as good as they looked. Guess where they were? While every other team except for the Seahawks was out on an island watching in Cancun on a beach on their yacht doing whatever they do in their offseason because they aren't playing football, the New England Patriots were playing football yesterday in a rebuild season. And they looked abysmal. And it shows exactly how much rebuilding is still needed on the offensive side of the ball. It showed all of the youth, all of the inexperience, and all of the holes on the offensive side of the ball. But for the Patriots, it also showed that they have an elite Super Bowl caliber winning defense that literally carried them all the way to the biggest game of the year. If you can't build off that or be positive about that looking forward, I don't know. There's something wrong. You just need to get out of that negative mindset, I guess. I'm like one of the most negative mindseted people ever. I get told all the time. This is just the beginning. For the New England Patriots, this is just the beginning. And honestly, for the Super Bowl champions, this might be just the beginning as well. Because their conference, their division is getting old. The Rams aren't going to be around long as far as what they are right now. Stafford's got maybe one more year in them, I think. The Seahawks are just getting going. That's a team. That's a squad. This is one of those sticking around for a while kind of dominant football teams. But I'm getting out of here on that. Big Al Studios shutting down for the day. Obviously, pitchers and catchers report. Pitchers and catchers report tomorrow, and I am super excited about that. It is baseball season officially for me, so I will just be angry at a different team now. I'll be mad at the Red Sox for the rest of the season. But a lot of baseball content coming. Going to bring back Sox and Brews with my boy Pitt. Going to try to bring back Bases Loaded as soon as I can with pitchers and catchers reporting this week. Spring training starting in the next couple weeks. Got to get to it. Got to get to work because baseball is here and baseball is my forte. We also are walking into the end of the NBA and NHL seasons and into the playoffs for those fairly soon in just a couple of months. And it is February. So that means, guess what next month is? March Madness. Sports. It doesn't stop with the Super Bowl, everybody. Cannot wait to talk about all the other things. Also, last note, I love the Benito Bowl, and I don't care. I thought it was a lot of fun. I like art, and that was very artistic. It was very, very well done. Take it or leave it as what it is. I'll see you next time. Find some clips of this over on my TikTok, Not That Diddy. I'm on YouTube, Not That Diddy here, Not That Diddy. Not That Diddy on Facebook and Instagram or NTD Media over on Facebook. And remember, it's DITTI as Diddy, not that Diddy. Be excellent to each other. I'll see you next time.